Let's talk now about luxury brands. If you remember, actually in the world of fashion and luxury, we have four more or less business model: luxury brands, designer fashion, premium brands, and vertical retailers. The luxury brands are probably the oldest kind of business model in the world of fashion, because they were the first to be established, in particular in France, and usually in what we call hard luxury categories, such as watches and jewels, or in leather goods. Luxury is something that has a value proposition that has to be very clear. Luxury is not about fashionability, because this is the main difference with high-end fashion brands. Luxury is more about timelessness, it's about legacy, heritage of the brand, and has to do a lot with the idea of uniqueness, exclusivity, and craftsmanship. This is very much the value proposition and what the customer expects from a luxury brand. A second element, the what, so the product offer delivered, as I already said, has a lot to do with hard luxury, timeless categories, watches, jewels. Leather goods is a booming category. Silk accessories is another important category for luxury brands. Less apparel, that usually is the category for fashion brands. In terms of the design of the value chain, so the how, let's say, of this business model, think that companies are usually increasingly vertically integrated. So French brands such as Louis Vuitton and Hermes, there are luxury brands by nature, and the top luxury brands we may think of do control all their activities. In particular, Louis Vuitton is integrated both in design, manufacturing, and retail. Is a retailer in all senses. Control over production is super important among these brands. Even Italian luxury brands, think about Zegna, think about Tod's, think about Ferragamo, are increasingly controlling all the manufacturing activities. And even if in the case they have a network of suppliers, external suppliers, they are very much linked to them. They invest in their machines, they help them in the product development. So really is a sort of ecosystem, that of luxury manufacturing, very much based on craftsmanship, very much based on superior competences, and more luxury brands are investing into this. Of course, then the retail is fundamental as well, because it's the place where luxury brand can speak and tell their stories. But of course, retail is also vertically integrated in the case in the mass market case, so is not so different in this case. Another thing that has to be taken into consideration talking about luxury brands is that what is in the center of a luxury brand is the brand itself, its heritage, its tradition. The brand acts as an authority. And this is very different from a fashion brand, where at the heart of a fashion brand you have a designer, the designer persona. Its interpretation of trends, the fashion show, is fundamental for a fashion brand. So this is very important to position a luxury brand. It's very also important the time in the case of luxury brands. If you think that most of the luxury brands were born in Europe, Italy, France, some in Switzerland, at least 2 centuries ago, they have years of legacy, and this is actually what the customer buys. Time is what you buy when you buy as a company through an acquisition, a luxury brand. Time. It's difficult to establish a new luxury brand because the time is very important and the timelessness in its value proposition. In the way the vertical system works, we find a difference, for instance, between Italian and French companies. As I said, French companies tend to be vertically integrated from design to retail. Italians do control manufacturing and design, but usually they sell, if we talk about distribution networks, also through wholesale channels. So they are not 100% integrated into retail downstream. While when we talk about this segment of accessible luxury, think about brands such as Coach or in particular American brand in this accessible luxury, they are integrated into retail and into design, but most of them are not integrated into manufacturing. So this is an interesting point, different business model according, not really business model, but ways to design the value chain according to the kind of nationality of the brand. Totally integrated the French, not fully integrated in retail the Italians, and not integrated in manufacturing the American brands of accessible luxury.